Welcome to the Breakthrough Podcast, where great guests finally get the recognition they deserve. I'm your host, Maddie Morton, and I'm joined today by my friend, Lacey Hamilton. Lacey, can you tell us a little bit about what you do in your field?
Hi, Maddie. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course.
I recently graduated with my master's from BYU in Provo in English. While I was there, I had the opportunity to teach both freshman writing and technical communication. And so now I feel uniquely qualified to help other people tailor their resumes because that was a full unit that I got to teach these students. So that's I recently graduated. I'm now kind of taking a small left turn going into seminary and institute, which is exciting.
That's awesome.
But these are all skills that I'm going to be able to take with me forever.
And it's definitely good for whatever job that you do to apply that experience. So thank you so much for sharing that. And as each of us looks for a job, whether in the writing field or in any other industry, tailoring a resume becomes essential. Lacey, what has helped you tailor your resume to get where you are now?
So the one thing that I think really shaped the way I create my resumes now was realizing that it has to be tailored every single time.
Right.
The easy answer is to just say, create one really good one. But I would actually argue you should create one really long one that has everything in it. And then you can cut stuff out and tailor it for every single job and change the keywords. But your main information is there. So you have a master copy of everything. Every job you apply for, you're going to cut stuff out. You're going to change it. You're going to edit it to make it specifically for that job. So that's kind of the way that I run my resume. Or post-grad school, most of us have what's called a CV or a curricula vitae, but it's almost exactly the same thing.
Well, and a lot of it, too, it will help you stand out as you, continue to tailor and have, this big master one. So thank you so much for sharing that. And another common question that people can have when they're looking for a job is why tailoring a resume with specific keywords so important. Lacey, how have you incorporated keywords to help your resume stand out as you've applied for jobs?
Yeah, that is so key, especially where I said you're changing your resume for every job. They tell you who they're looking for, so you might as well make yourself look like that right candidate. And those keywords are going to be the way to do it. So, for instance, if the job application or you find on their official website that they have a specific mission or they're looking for a motivator, take that as a hint that maybe their last person was really lazy. So you need to say, oh yeah, I have experience getting groups going. If you don't want to be too on the nose with exact keywords, think about synonyms. Think about maybe what might have motivated them to put that in and try to put those keywords in there. So then you're saying, not only am I a good fit, I'm exactly what you're looking for.
Right.
Don't only put in keywords. Make sure you still represent yourself truly, but they told you who they want. So be that person. And that has not failed me yet.
Well, and not giving them what they want and who you really are is going to make it easier than for saying no on not accepting you if you're not true to yourself. So thank you so much.
You bet.
And sometimes our biggest worry as applicants is whether we have enough experience or whether tailoring starts to feel too boastful. Lacey, what has helped you overcome this challenge, and how do you know when tailoring becomes too much?
Yeah. So first off, this is your time to show your best foot forward. Show off.
Yeah.
This is the time to say, I've done A, B, C, and D. But not only have I done that, it's important that you close out that statement or show what the benefit was or will be for that company. You're not just saying, and I sold 100 magazines. You're saying, I sold 100 magazines that then moved on to boost this and this, which is going to benefit your company, do blah, 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 right? So make sure you're not just showing off, but you're saying, I have this thing, I have this skill that's going to benefit you. Here's proof of it. So that's one thing that's going to be really important with tailoring is not just keywords, but make sure if you have any statistics, any numbers, be as exact as possible so that you can say, I'm not just a theoretical good applicant. I am actually statistically the one that you want, and here's why.
For
And
sure.
so when it comes to tailoring, you do want to show off, but not to make yourself feel better. You
Hmm.
want to show them that you have these skills that's going to benefit them, and that's why they should choose you.
And it's so important too to do it that way because otherwise it's going to become like very problematic if you don't list those things like you were talking about.
Yeah, because then you're just shooting information into the wind. You're saying, hey, you have a job. I kind of think that sounds nice, but I'm actually not going to put any effort to let you know that I'm the one that you want, right?
Hmm.
You have to make sure you're tailoring it. It shows your commitment. If you really don't care about the job and you're like, this is a low grade, throwing this out there, you could not tailor it, right? But the chances of you getting the job are going to be slim. But if
Yep.
it's a job that you want, I highly recommend you're looking over it. Use AI to help tailor it. I like to put in the job listing into AI and
Yeah.
say, what kind of things do you know about me? Because I use AI enough that I've got AI giving me feedback about what it knows that I like. I say, how can I tailor this? How can I do that? Never turn in a full AI resume, but let it help you improve.
Right.
Um, but it's going to help you be able to make those decisions that make you stand out specifically to what the business wants.
And has there been a time when you've like taught resumes to other students and that time prior that there has been like bad examples
Oh my
of
gosh.
resume?
Yes. And it is so unfortunate. So I had the pleasure of obviously grading students' cover letters and resumes.
Right.
And, there's a really big debate in the field about whether templates are worth it or not. If they make you too bland, they make you not stand out. But I'll tell you this, if you don't know where to start, a template is a tried and true successful way to make a resume. Start there. And then as you get more experienced, you want to stand out a little bit. You know your personality, you know what the businesses want, blah, blah, blah. Then you can start pulling away from that. But I say start at the template, and it's going to be a lot harder to fail because
Right.
they're made to look good and sound good and have the right information. I highly, highly recommend them for people that have never created a resume before.
Well, and even for getting started too, there's so many like softwares like VMock that helps give feedback back
Yeah.
to make that stand out a lot better. So, what's been your experience by using that technology to help you land the job of your dreams that you've had?
Yeah, totally. So for me, I thank goodness have had a lot of opportunities. Don't get me wrong. I have applied for a job, the true, here's my resume, got the job kind of situation. A lot of jobs, thank goodness, I get through networking, people I know
Mhm.
that have made that opportunity for me. But the one that really made the biggest difference was my application to grad school when you submit a CV. And I think it was a little shocking. I found my template for this, which I then went on to personalize
Yeah.
on Etsy.
Oh,
People just
wow.
have them and you can buy them for like $2. And then you look slightly unique, but they're still tried and true. They're great formats.
Hmm.
And it was cool because then I got to do little personalizations, like changing the color of something to the school that I'm applying to.
Right.
Like if you were applying to BYU, are you going to put red on your resume? No,
No.
because that's the Utah colors, right? So putting a nice navy blue somewhere in there is a nice way to just personalize that. Um, I wish people understood how much looks matter as much as the information. If it is ugly, they aren't going to spend much time. And they say you
No.
have what, 10, 15 seconds that they're looking at your resume. They're not
Right.
doing deep reading, they are skimming. You make it as skimmable, easy to access, like visually,
And
and
even bullet points.
yes, bullet points. Don't use weird fonts. Don't use extreme colors. Make it all fit on one page. Little details like that that make you stand out because you put the thought into it
Right.
is going to be your biggest friend.
And honestly, like, there's been so many times too that I've even seen examples when I've helped other students as a TA in the past, or even helped my friends with their resume, and there's too many bullet points and it looks super busy. How have you been able to like keep it concise
Yeah.
that it still gets to the point?
Yeah. So there are a few things that I really like to think about. First is weight. And I'm obviously not talking about lifting weights.
Yeah.
Like, how big are different sections? Like, your education, especially coming out of undergrad, is going to be like one line. You can beef it up depending on the purpose, saying, hey, here are classes I've taken,
Right.
blah, blah, blah. So then you're making sure to say, hey, I'm qualified. Here's my experience. And then a little bit at the bottom of, extracurriculars or awards, right? Make sure the weight looks correct.
Hmm.
And for a job, the weight should probably be in here's work I've done that's relevant. That's where a majority of it should be.
Right.
For me, for grad school, it needed to be a lot in what classes have I taken? Why does this interest me? Blah, blah, blah. It totally changes based on what you're going for.
For sure.
The other thing is there's good, better, best when it comes to information. And so
Right.
that's why I say to have a master with so much on it. Because let's say at one job, you actually did 10 different things, but you don't need to put all 10 of those things under that job on every resume. You need to pick and choose what is going to be the most relevant to the employer, put those there rather than everything.
Right. Because if you put everything, it's just going to look so bad and
Yeah.
so much all at once that you want to keep it like concise and to
Yeah.
the point that makes you stand out.
Yeah. That's why you're going to put the best information. You're going to tailor it, make sure that it's right for them.
Hmm.
Your job or your goal with a resume is not to get the job. Your goal with a resume is to get an interview. And that's when you
Right.
can get more into the nitty gritty of all the nuances of it, of what you've done. So, yeah, that would be the two things that I would really make sure you're taking into consideration: the weight and picking the best bullet points or keywords to go with each job.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lacey. And Lacey, thank you again for being here today on the show. As we wrap up, what advice do you want other candidates to hear when it comes to resumes?
Um, Especially people that are looking for jobs right now, the climate is tough. It is tough to find a job. I would want them to not get too discouraged.
Yeah.
There are people that are out there that are switching jobs that have been working in their field for 20 years, and there's not a lot you can do to make your resume look better than theirs. And
Hmm.
that is just it's a hard truth. And I've been looking for a job for so long. Like, I graduated in August and I was looking before that, right? And now, thank goodness I have one. But my best advice would be to keep going. Do the amount of applications a day that you can do well. It's
Yeah.
better to put your best foot forward a few times than a crappy foot forward 100 times, right? Don't hit
Right.
the like Indeed apply now button. Like, actually put together a resume for every single job and do it well. And you're going to get a lot better looks than if you're
Hmm.
just spewing stuff into the internet and hoping for the best.
Well, and also go to the actual company website to see if there's openings and send your cover letter or resume there so you stand out. And then it's a lot easier for them to find you than Indeed or LinkedIn, where you don't know for sure if that's going to be a fishy site or not.
Yeah. I mean, the company webpage is going to be your best friend
Mhm.
because they've obviously put together the job listing. Those can be so oddly specific. Make sure you like the company you're applying to because you're going to have to work there. And the
Right.
best way to get an idea about that is to check out that page. Another cool little tip is if you can figure out who's actually posted the job, who is going to be reading your cover letter, address it to that person. And it's just one little thing to make you stand out that they're like, oh, they did research as to who's over this company or who's over this department, blah, blah, blah.
Well, and even doing that with a resume too, that person who reads the cover letter is likely the one looking over the resume to see if you're even worth their time to
Yeah.
have that job.
Yeah. And one more thing is if you can ever find a way to run your resume through a bot to make sure everything is readable, because a lot of companies do feed or they kind of weed things out through a bot to
Mhm.
make sure people are actually qualified. And that's just an unfortunate thing. We're never going to get away from it now.
Yeah.
Make sure that it's readable. Whatever you do, for the love of all that is good and holy, never submit them a Word document. You submit a
Yeah.
PDF because a PDF cannot be edited and it will not change based on the format of how they're looking at it. So if a guy is reading it on his way to work on a train, it's going to look the same on his phone as it does on his laptop. If you
Right.
send him a Word document, the formatting is going to get so messed up. Don't
And it
do
doesn't
that.
stay constant.
No, and they can edit it, or it just looks less professional. So that would be another thing. Send a PDF that can't be changed.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing and taking the time to be here on the show. We really loved having you be here. And coming up next on The Breakthrough, we'll cover strategies for making outstanding cover letters. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks.